welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast. My name is Vera, and I'm joined as always by my two estimable co-hosts, Katie.
Hi.
And Livy.
Hello!
Today...
I think that's how an estimable person would speak.
I don't know.
I'm drunk already.
Woohoo!
What's that word?
Estimable.
Is that a word?
It is.
Someone who estimates.
No,
it's an esteemed.
Yeah. There you go. Let's mention how all our words are brought to you by our friend Nora.
Thank you, Nora. Thank you for expanding our vocabularies.
Yes.
They need it.
I need it. This is our second Hermes handbag. No.
Handbag.
Mailbag.
You should feel really privileged that you own two Hermes handbags.
I think it's Hermes handbag. Like it's his Hermes
Yeah, he has
handbag.
one. He's dashing around delivering his messages. He needs a handbag to carry them in.
Yeah, absolutely. So because it's a mailbag app, it's a party app.
What?
I don't know.
Every app's a party app, Vera.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, why don't we start this up?
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna go first?
Yeah, who would like to begin? Katie?
I would?
Yes, you have volunteered yourself.
Okay. What do we got first? Oh, yes. I would like to start by reading a bit of a comment that we got on Facebook from Amanda M. And we had already recorded our Sacrifice 2 podcast at this point, so we could not mention this then. And we neglected to point this out, I think, which is a big oversight on our part. So I gotta read it.
Okay,
Ready?
go for it.
Hey there, I hope I caught you all before recording Sacrifice 2, if not bummer, simply because I need to comment about how stunning Renee O'Connor's eyes are as Hope attacks our hero duo as she stands there after emerging from the cocoon. The lighting and zoom effects were perfect. I've been slightly obsessed with green eyes since, knowing nothing that I've seen so far has captured that kind of green before. Props to Renee O'Connor's acting, too, of course. Her eyes are really beautiful. I just wanted to make sure that we got that in there.
We definitely don't mention her eyeballs.
I know.
Quite enough.
Just the brows.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that
the eyebrows, yeah, for sure.
They are more mysterious than Lucy's.
Yeah.
Lucy's are blue.
Yeah, because it's like
Clearly.
what color, Renee's eyes kind of become, it's like a mood ring
Yeah,
of
they're
eyes.
changey.
Yeah, I thought they were more of like a darker blue. This is the first time I even heard that they were green.
No, they're green.
Everybody now tells
Yeah.
me they are green, so
They're green.
I accept this.
Pay
Is this
attention.
like how each of us never knows like exactly what colors appear like to other people? It's all just a matter of perspective. Like, what if my blue is your green?
No, that's not.
Isn't that
No.
color blindness?
I mean, sort
Is that
of.
the dress?
Yeah, that's a bit of the
gold
dress.
and black, right?
The dress that looked gold or navy blue, depending on who was looking at
Okay.
I hated that.
it. It just made you question the nature of your reality.
I know, it's frightening. Well, her eyes are green,
No doubt about it.
and they're really beautiful. So yeah, thank you for that
Thank
comment.
you.
Because it's true, and I love it.
Next.
Our next question is from Candace. She asks, how do you think that the rift has changed Xena and Gabrielle's relationship, both subtextually and not? Do you think that relationship has changed for the better or worse at this point in the series?
Juicy.
That's a big one. Guys, you want to answer that or should we not answer that? Should we let our friend Troy answer that?
I think we should let Troy answer it.
Troy definitely says it better than any of us could.
This is an amazing comment.
Yes, this is great when we receive a comment where we're like, oh good, we don't have to answer any questions now. Vera, you want to do the honors?
No, I can't read.
Okay,
You finish it up.
I'll answer my own question via Troy. Troy says, this is season 3 in retrospective. If season 1 was establishing Xena as hero, and season 2 was the forging of partnership with Gabrielle, then season 3 was the testing of that relationship, the crucible. Xena and Gabrielle had to go through the fire together. That meant the loss of innocence, confronting old ghosts of doubt, and healing a seemingly unrepairable rift. And for Gabrielle, moving from the role as mostly observer/supporter to the one making the difficult hero's choice, in parentheses, when in Rome, and being completely trustworthy even when tempted by the most powerful emotional pulls, in parentheses, sacrifice 1 and 2. But what has emerged is a stronger partnership. There is between them more trust, and in Gabrielle, a more skillful and tenacious combatant. Season 3 is the springboard into the golden era of the show, of Xena and Gabrielle in full bloom. Gabrielle's journey to being a warrior will be tested in other ways, but for now, Xena is a rock beside her, the model warrior, fully competent and willing to serve as Gabrielle's guide going forward. Good stuff.
So
I think that says it a lot better than we could. The one thing that I think we all want to make clear about Candace's question is she kind of distinguishes between subtextually and not. And we don't necessarily see much of a difference unless you're actually talking about like how the rift affected how much sex they were having.
Right.
I think it affected it a little bit.
And I would say they probably affected it.
They were both
in that respect.
confused for a while.
That's what Xena would say. Yeah, I think if you were to ask Xena, like, how did the rift change your relationship? She would be like, well, it was hard. We were both confused. Now we're fine.
Yeah.
Stop asking me about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I especially love what Troy says about season 3 being a crucible.
Yes.
That to me,
Yeah.
you're just like, yes, they emerged from the fires and they're stronger than before. Which is basically what Xena says to Cyrene at the end of the Furies. You know, that these relationships, they're tested, and they have to be tested because then they come out so much stronger. We often spoke about Xena and Gabrielle as being on these pedestals in each other's eyes, and they needed to be knocked off those pedestals. They needed to see each other clearly, and I think that's what happens by the end of season 3.
So Eric kind of also talks about season 3 here, and I am going to attempt to read this.
Season 3, man. Damn.
All right, so Eric says, we needed to see the characters fall out and how they would come back together. Adding other characters such as Ares Lauma, the Green Dragon, Callisto Soul and Hope, Caesar, and maybe a few others just makes it that much more complex and juicy. When I think of Xena, I think of season 3 and these amazing episodes with such juicy plot. This is the show right here, and I think it is important because there are episodes like One Against an Army that pull these characters closer and allow them to put it all out on the table. There was such a massive shift in the show here.
Absolutely.
To end it all off, I just have to say that Sacrifice 2 was highly traumatizing for my 7/8-year-old self.
Oh, no.
I thought I would never see Hudson or Renee ever again on the show. Parentheses, I was young and really didn't know what to expect.
See, that goes to show, like, obviously not everyone knew that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, I told you, this is exactly what Rob wanted. He wanted us to fall for it.
I mean, you're always a little worried.
Of course.
None of us are that secure in our lovely television show to
These
be like,
kind of
it's all
things
fine.
work very well for people who are less invested in a show. If you're just watching TV and you don't know anything about anything and you're not on, message boards or things,
Yeah, if you
then
don't know
it
how it
works
works,
a lot
yeah.
better. Otherwise, you know that everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. The more sophisticated a viewer you are, the harder it is to be fooled. But when you're 7 years old, you're traumatized. I'm sorry about that, Eric.
Yeah, good thing they both came back. Katie,
Yeah.
you
Next
are up.
question?
Yes.
From Kathy. The obvious. Who was more to blame for the rift?
Okay, count of 3. We say who it is.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
No one.
Oh, wow. Rob.
That was a spread.
Yeah, that was crazy. And, oh my God, I can't believe you said Xena.
I did. I
We're
did.
gonna have a
You
fight.
guys duke it out, because I'm not a blame game person.
I mean, I think that Katie's answer is the actual right answer. But if
No.
you're asked to play the blame game, you play.
Well, I think it's Gabrielle because she was lime green Jello one time.
She was. There was no excuse for that. Being lime green Jello is a bad.
I think that, to me, that moment was just so much worse than her evil child killing Solon. Like, it's really crazy.
Yikes.
But I'm like, she was jealous of Lao Ma.
I mean,
And that was 10 years ago, guys.
But was she only jealous of Lao Ma because she'd already sacrificed her daughter and just had all this resentment, and it was making her act out in irrational ways? Maybe.
She was still the one to blame.
Why did you say Xena?
I guess for me, like, they both did a lot of bad things, but, like, looking at Gabrielle, I say Gabrielle always, like, knew what Xena would do. Like, she was always, like, she always understood Xena. She was always kind of just reacting to Xena's kind of ruthlessness, like, in lying to her and hiding her daughter and trying to prevent her from killing Ming Tian. Mm-hmm. It was coming from a place where she actually really understood Xena and, like, feared for her. Whereas, like, I get frustrated that Xena didn't fully get what Gabrielle was going through throughout these episodes. Like, she doesn't really understand her attachment to Hope, like, ever. Like, she never really understands why that was such a painful experience to Gabrielle. Like, she's always mad at her whenever Gabrielle's like, oh, like, I'm feeling a pang of sympathy for Hope. She's always just like, ugh, she's a monster, get over it.
She cooked her in her oven for 20 minutes, you know? Xena, like, had a kid, so she's like, that's not real. I think that's why she...
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just...
She goes with that.
It's a difference
and
in
it's
perspective.
And that's very selfish in her own way. Like, it's so good. They're both so selfish.
I mean, it's really good. Yeah, they obviously are each very, like, married to their own perspective and unable to see the other person's side. But I personally think that Xena had more trouble seeing it from Gabrielle's perspective than Gabrielle did seeing it from
that's
Xena's.
interesting.
Because Xena's perspective is the correct perspective.
Oh, all right. We're going to fight now, Vera. We're taking this outside.
Well, what if we put it in this perspective?
Yeah, here is actually another great example of one of our readers seeming to answer a question posed by another reader.
Except it does not answer that question because they were both at fault.
All right, have it your way. This is from Bakai XV. They say, what did Gabrielle do to the writing staff to deserve all this suffering?
Oh my goodness.
And then they list the suffering. Here it is. Tricked into killing Meridian, impregnated by an evil god, hounded by people during a scary quick demon pregnancy, forced to abandon her baby because Xena was trying to kill it, told by Xena that she owed someone else so much she was willing to throw away all the time they'd spent together. Also lost Solon. Let's not forget she spent almost as much time with him as Xena has.
That made me really chuckle.
That's pretty dark.
That's very dark stuff. It was just kind of one of those things where I was like...
She hung out with him for the same day and a half that Xena did.
Oh, no.
She had to murder her own daughter and almost killed herself. She was disowned by Xena and dragged behind a horse. She goes through another Dayhawk experience in Illusia. She took a poison arrow. She got battered by a snotty kid. Yeah.
I was like, what kid did it? And I was like, oh, right.
That traumatizing snotty kid battering. Went through all that stuff with Crassus in Rome. Somewhat unsurprisingly, was on the verge of a breakdown in Forget-Me-Not.
No kidding.
She had to watch her daughter be reborn with her own face.
Not the best.
And she had to kill Hope again and thinks she's sacrificing herself in the process.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And as Back XV says, I've probably even missed stuff. Probably true. Gabrielle has lost just about everything at one time or another this season. Blood innocence, her ideals, her faith, her love, her life, her hope/hope. I like that pun. And lest we forget, a really nice pair of boots. R.I.P.
The worst
boots.
offense of all.
I think so. That's just, I lie awake at night being like, but the boots! Why does Gabrielle seem to get the lion's share of the hurt? And is it fair? Break the cutie, indeed. And then in parentheses, don't get me wrong, I love it all. Bring on the angst in buckets. It's deliciously awful. But my heart fairly breaks for Gabrielle this season. She endures a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It
Yeah.
is a lot. And I think that's part of what my siding with her in the rift is I'm like, you suffered so much. And obviously, Xena suffered quite a bit as well.
I'm sure you could make a similar
Argument for Xena. Yeah, I mean, she's the hero.
list.
She's always
Yeah.
getting beaten up and almost killed. And that's what you sign up for with this show is that both the leads go through some shit.
But isn't it that she suffered so much because she was guilty?
I
Like,
think that's a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things are hurt she inflicts upon herself because of her feelings of guilt.
Right.
I think that's important.
And also like karmic guilt.
I also
We're not
think-
there on karma yet.
Oh,
So now
close.
you're agreeing with Vera.
Because it's the truth.
Obviously, I'm not
We're in
saying,
illusion already.
I'm not saying she's an innocent, but I'm saying, like, my sympathy is with her.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that Gabrielle is kind of the hero of the show.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of, maybe. She's going on this journey from innocence to experience. And in some ways, I think that means it's like more on her to suffer, to go through shit, because that's part of growing up. I think Xena has already suffered so much, like, before the show even
10
began.
years ago.
Yeah, like, she's gone through those growing pains, whereas I think we're seeing Gabrielle go through them in real time, and that's why, in part, it feels so, like, a lot.
Right. And also, the writers really love what Renee is bringing to the table and are throwing it all at her, which is what we want.
Yes.
All right, Lisa says, how huge is your capacity to forgive? Do you have a friendship that could survive something as substantial as the rift, or do you have it in yourself to forgive someone you love for devastating actions against you? I'm a few podcasts behind, but you guys are still one of the best parts of my week. Hope you still enjoy recording it as much as we are loving listening to it.
Whee!
I can't promise that.
Drink. No, that is
These
just
people.
that's
Can I
just such
forgive them?
a nice thing to say. So thank you so much.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
And that kind of comment is like fuel for us.
Totally.
For sure. Also, this whiskey.
Yeah.
Whiskey and love are our two fuels.
To answer the question, I guess I'm going to start by saying that I am a sucker for a redemption arc. I think I made it clear that you could give me any character,
You do.
no matter how evil it is, and I would be willing to watch them go on a journey of some sort and forgive them. So I hope we all have this capability. I mean, the Rift, that's some harsh stuff that they went through. I don't know, like, I mean, we've seen people in the news, people forgive their family members, murderers and whatever. So it happens. People are capable of such great forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys?
Yeah, I've never quite been in a situation where I've had to forgive someone I love for wronging me. I feel like I've actually been in the opposite situation. I've, like, beat myself up for, like, trespassing upon the love of other people. So I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I hope if I were in that situation that I could forgive. Like, I do think as a person, I really value that
Yeah.
ability. Like, it is an important, like, part of my worldview that, like, you should forgive.
Yeah. And love thy enemy.
Yeah, love thy enemy. And as Vera says, I think in my art, I love characters who have done bad things, who are trying to atone. I just think it's such a moving character study. And I think we all identify with that.
Yeah.
Like, we all...
Because I think we all want that. Like, if, you want people to forgive you for everything.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, that's a really deep question.
Yeah, very deep.
And, yeah, I think that's part of why the Rift is such an amazing storyline, is that it really makes you think about these things in your own life.
Katie, Victoria's question?
Yes. Next question. I really want to discuss whether you or any of us think Xena could or would have killed Hope when she was a baby. Yeah, she chased Gabrielle through the forest and all, but do we think she would have done it? And how would she have gone about it? Yeah, I think she was going to do it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Shut up, Aries. Hope is evil.
It's a baby, though. She would have maybe
I think
hesitated.
it would have been
so
hard.
I don't know, I guess.
I think it would have been an Abraham and Isaac situation for her.
You think?
I think it would have been a nice callback to that amazing Terrence Winter episode.
Altered
Here's
states.
my answer. I don't think the show would have ever
Put her
had
there.
Xena kill a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
But you
makes it difficult.
you can see this amazing parallel already. Like, this is a fake scene that doesn't exist. But I see Xena taking the baby, and the first thing you think of is the gauntlet, or in those Hercules episodes where she saved the baby, could not have a baby be killed, right? So she would be holding this baby, and you, the audience, are thinking about this, and she's contemplating killing it, and then it's like Abraham and Isaac again, and will she be able to do it? I don't think so. It's what Katie said, but
When
also
she looks into the eyes
Right.
of the light from the face
She-
of a baby.
she lets the baby-
That line is upcoming.
she lets the baby live.
We haven't gotten there yet.
We give it a second chance, right? Maybe Gabrielle is right, although obviously Xena knows that this is an evil child. Maybe, I don't know, they let it go somehow. I don't know what they do, but later on she'll show up as an 11-year-old with terrible hair still.
Then Xena
Then
could kill
Xena
her.
will be like more like willing to see how like evil she is. 'Cause she's like throwing around telekinesis at that point. It's like not, she's getting to a place where she's back to, we gotta kill her.
Here's my question. Don't you think it changes, like, the root of the rift if you actually don't think Xena could have killed that baby? Because
But
if
it's both.
If Xena couldn't really kill that baby, then Gabrielle shouldn't have put the baby in the basket and floated it away. You know, that whole situation could have turned out really differently if she'd let it play out.
Yes, but she couldn't risk that.
Yeah, she couldn't risk
That's
that.
the thing.
And this might be the one place where you don't want to have to
Yeah.
predict what Xena would do. Certainly, I'm feeling uncomfortable trying
Yeah.
to predict whether or not Xena is going to kill a baby.
Right.
You guys are over there talking, and I'm like stuck in the abyss moment where they're talking about this very thing with delirious Gabrielle and Xena saying stuff about how she understands everything. Goodbye.
It only took 3 years, but she got there.
All right. Who is next? Is it you, Olivia?
Victoria, no, we just did Victoria.
Robin.
Victoria, we just love your question so much.
Yeah, we're
I'm
talking
going to
about
ask it again.
Robin.
Robin asks, what, in your opinion, are the best and worst moments of season 3?
Holy shit. All right, I got a worst one.
Okay, go for it.
I just all of Vanishing Act and those accents. And back in that podcast, Vera asked me if I was like secondhand embarrassed, and I was like, no, not really, because like everyone's like committed and everyone's good. I stand by that everyone is committed and great, but actually the answer is yes. There's a lot of secondhand embarrassment, and I cannot handle it. Worst.
In the safety of the Hermes mailbag, she can admit this.
No, I wasn't. I was genuine at the time, but like thinking about it afterwards, I was like, no, it's definitely a secondhand embarrassment feeling, and I don't like it.
I also have a worst.
Yeah.
It's the finger sucking from Dirty Six.
Oh, yuck.
That was a low moment.
Oh, I liked it. That's one of my best.
Yeah, we really are going to end up fighting each other.
Best moment, that risque finger sucking. My worst moment is 11-year-old Hope's hair. I cannot deal with it, guys. I cannot.
I mean, I kind of am more with you than with either my own answer or Katie's. Like, bad things and great episodes are always more annoying to me than, like, a bad thing in a bad episode.
Yeah. Best moments?
Too many.
All
Too
of it.
many.
All of season 3.
Oh, yeah.
Too many.
Just throw them out. Like,
Can we just Yeah, do we have to
lob them?
list?
Yeah, lob.
It's moments. We don't have to pick
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
moments.
Just-
I got one. Xena and Lama fly fucking.
Oh my
The
god.
debt.
All of-
Gorgeous imagery.
Barias.
Yeah. Just Bariasing about.
Yeah, Bariasing on the horse. The horse fucking. Fly fucking and horse,
Horse
fucking.
fucking, yeah.
All of One Against an Army, beginning to end.
Sacrifice
Yeah.
part 2, the last few minutes.
Right. Any
Not
others?
Yes, I Lied.
Yes, I lied.
Scratch my nose, will you?
Oh,
I also really love this a random one, but in the Furies when Xena is naked and trying to burn that village,
Oh.
and Gabrielle comes and saves,
so good.
and talks her down.
So good.
Yeah, the random extra who's dressed as a Gabrielle peasant outfit from Sacrifice 1. I'm putting it on my best.
I
What-
love you, Xena, at the end of Maternal.
Oh yeah, that's
my
a good
favorite.
one. That's a good I love you moment.
So good. So good.
Their sad cuddle in the ruins at the end of The Deliverer.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, what a good
This is a
season.
good season.
Yeah, this season has so many highs that we can't even list them.
Yeah, we could go on, and we missed a bunch for
Oh,
sure.
God.
This is
A
just off the
million.
top of our heads.
A million, yeah.
All right. Is it my turn? We just did Robin. Okay. Now, is it Kara or Kara? Only showrunners.
Ron Moore knows.
Yeah, Ron Moore would know. Okay. Hey guys, would you mind talking a bit more about the growth and cementation of the cast of minor characters on the show? I feel like season 3 did a lot of this while still having the major Xena and Gabrielle arc. Also, thank you for all the epic one-episode episodes. Oh, I'm glad you like that.
Oh, man. I hope everybody likes
Yeah.
the one-episode episodes.
Well, here's the thing about that is just that as the show has gotten better, you just need more time
Yeah.
to give the episodes room. And honestly, we were looking ahead to season 4 to see, our schedules and things. And like almost every single one, I was like,
yeah, we're gonna have a lot more.
Yeah, so
runners.
good that someone likes it. Yay.
Yay. All right, minor characters. Go.
Well, here's a selection of things that happened in season 3. We had Joxer's crush revealed at the end of season 2, so you have to think about the way in which his character has evolved mostly through that crush, his unrequited feelings for Gabrielle, and seeing how they make him both more likable and also more creepy.
True.
But it's
that.
definitely adding a tragic dimension to the character, which I think is important and helps to humanize him.
It's also making him like more of a part of a team.
Yeah.
Of the team. I
To
should
the
say.
point where at the end of season 3, Xena trusts him with a huge task.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Because, he's just there. He does not leave them alone. So she's like, all right.
I accept this,
Yeah.
and I'm going to exploit it.
yes.
We also, of course, have Callisto.
Callisto. Gosh, I wish there was way more of her.
God, it's crazy. We've mentioned this before, but it's like she's in 7 episodes.
No, and we're almost at the end of her run, really. I do feel like her later appearances, like in seasons 4 and 5, are, they're like little, like victory laps. They don't really feel like
Well,
because
because this was it. Like this was what they thought of, and then after that, it was like, hey, you want to come back? Sure, okay, here, this and that.
She also comes back with the Seraphim special do.
I know, I don't count the little pixie do as proper Callisto. Sorry.
Ares, that's another minor person.
This is when he starts becoming more of a character. And I think we even said that when we started talking about the Deliverer and how, like, you feel, again, sort of like Joxer, you feel how inadequate and kind of, futile his love is. And I think that helps you to sympathize, and he becomes both tragic and human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's still kind of like just there. I mean, I see like there are tiny
Hints
of something, but it's a little bit later seasons that you really get like a character out of him. I can't think of Autolycus. I don't think he comes back.
Autolycus,
Does he?
Autolycus is
Yeah, I think he
at all
doesn't really
times.
grow.
And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to talk more about Aphrodite.
Oh,
in
yes.
the
Yes.
future.
Yeah.
I feel like she's still Aphrodite.
Yeah, they
Right.
haven't
as
started
well.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
kind of like Aries. Yeah.
Yeah. Aries, I feel like recently, maybe Liv, it was you who mentioned like every episode he comes in this season with some kind of new angle and plan to and like starts finally figuring stuff out
Yeah,
in this season
I
and
think
how
that
to get to Xena.
He's beginning to learn, which makes him a more interesting character because he's not just trying the same shit on
Yeah.
her anymore. He's kind of understanding that those angles don't work, and I think that immediately makes him a more dynamic character. Are there other minor characters from season 3? Cyrene.
I mean, we wish she was a series regular.
Yeah, so season 3 certainly, via the Furies, gave her a lot more dimension, so thank you for that, season 3.
Meg.
Meg is great.
Yeah, but then you're at recurring
Yeah,
characters,
yeah.
like the cast of minor characters. Like
It's small.
to me, it isn't even like Autolycus isn't even quite. He's
No,
like a
it's really
recurring-
like Joxer,
Joxer,
and
Aries.
Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joxer and Aries.
Those
Even
two
Callisto
men.
is a recurring character.
Yeah.
too.
It's literally those two
Intimate
dudes.
show, small ensemble.
small-
Right.
Small
then you need to
ensemble.
balance out 2 girls with 2 dudes. Mm-hmm. Okay, next.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Rose asks, Callisto fangirl Q. If there were a show centered around Callisto, what genre would it be? What part of her life and character would you want to see explored in more depth?
What genre would it be is interesting.
I
That
don't
makes
know.
me go like, a detective series.
Well,
Well, I mean, revenge
Revenge,
movie.
revenge
Which-
movie?
We're kind of like a Kill Bill, like
Ooh.
a,
Yes, please.
but like her, just all from her POV and like how you see like the shit Xena does, but from just 100% her POV, not Xena's POV. So that you're on her.
Well, you would be on hers. She would
Yeah,
be
you'd
the
be on-
hero
she
of
would be on-
of her own story
Of course.
and our story. And this is where I'm talking about that redemption arc. It could work on Callisto, and I have a few pitches
All right,
ready for
good,
this
I'm glad.
question.
Okay, hit us.
Okay, guys. All right. So, number 1. The angel Raphael, because I love that guy.
Oh, yeah. That's your friend, the hottie.
Yeah, the hottie angel / Verkinix brings Callisto out of oblivion with a promise of a new start. She can live her life anew if she completes an important mission. She has been chosen to fight in the army of good, to walk the earth and scour the world of evil and wrongdoing. When Callisto laughs in his face, Raphael mentions the fine print. It's not optional, it's mandatory. There's a quota to fill, and he doesn't care how she does it. Bureaucracy's a bitch. His final gift, a sword he himself has blessed. So, stripped of her godhood and immortality, Callisto begrudgingly becomes the angel's assassin. Ooh. In the pilot episode, she comes upon a village that is under attack and burning. She saves a young girl, Raya, who has just lost everything. Her first kill with the holy sword, the warlord who did it. Can Callisto find meaning in her journey to a second life? Find out weekly on Callisto, the angel's assassin.
Wow.
That's the first pitch.
Wow.
I have
you
2 more.
Wow, you
Vera,
have a lot there.
Vera, will you make that show?
I think there's so much potential here. Like, it's crazy. I really wish.
Do we ship Raya, Callisto?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Cool. I'm down. I don't even know how you're going to top that with 2 more pitches.
there are more. Well, we'll see. Okay. Oblivion is so boring that Callisto takes off to make it in the big city. With nothing but a saddlebag and 50 dinars to her name, Callisto arrives in Athens, city of dreams. But what exactly are her dreams? In this 4-camera, half-hour sitcom filmed in front of a live studio audience, join Callisto and Theodorus, who has been kicked out of Tartarus for having a body that is too darn hot for Hades, on their journey of self-discovery and newfound purpose. Watch as these 2 former warlords try their hands at having many skills while sharing an apartment with 2 young, aspiring bards. No, Callisto, put down your sword. They're just practicing their stories. It's Warlords in the City, where the shenanigans could literally kill you.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, one more.
Okay. Hit us.
Callisto finds herself in Egypt with no memory of who she is and no idea how she got there. Ooh. She meets Anubis, played by Ted Raimi,
No.
who takes an interest
Problematic.
and tells her she can find herself in the Great Pyramid. When Callisto enters the pyramid, Anubis unmasks and reveals that he's an ancient astronaut, a guy from another planet. He's finished his work on this planet and is ready to return home to the skies. With nothing to lose, Callisto looks upward and joins Anubis on a journey that will change the galaxy as we know it. How long before Callisto remembers her past? Can Anubis drive a spaceship? Will a simple girl from Sarah spark a fire that will burn through the entire universe? All this and more on Callisto in Space!
Callisto in space!
Damn.
Well, all I can say is that we are totally making a poll, and we're going to let our listenership vote on which of these ideas we're going to take to Hollywood and pitch to Hudson.
Yes. Oh, so I'm very into
This question.
Yeah.
Vera has literally been writing these for a week.
No, I just wrote them today. But that first one, I'm really into that because that's the real one.
I mean, that's the real one, but you know what? I would watch those other 2 in a heartbeat. I want all the, like, sexual misadventures of Callisto in Athens. I want Callisto in space so bad. I want Callisto to, like, you know, discover that she's, like, really good at being, like, a ship's mechanic. Mm-hmm. Like, that would be, like, cool. I just want to see her smeared with engine grease, I think.
I like that idea, too. Yeah. Good image. Next question. Unless you guys had other answers.
I mean,
I
think you won that round, Vera. You won.
Yes.
Next question from M. Who was your fave and least fave temporary hetero male love interest? Cough, Ulysses. Cough.
I think we can all agree he's
Barf emoji.
Is he our least fave? Is
Yeah.
he
He's the worst.
someone worse?
the
He's
worst.
at least like that guy from King Khan.
He's
He's
just boring,
fine.
yeah.
Like, yeah, he's the worst because he's just the worst. That episode sucks.
Yeah, that episode is the worst.
I just don't like that guy. I just don't like their chemistry. Just don't like that. But fave temporary.
Yeah, define temporary. Is it boyfriend of
And,
the
like,
week,
is
or
it-
is
so,
it
like, I
like
feel
in an
like-
episode?
I think if you're
So,
wondering
like,
if
just
you
a
can
dude.
say...
Just dudes generally.
I would discount Boreas and
Aries.
Perdiccas and Aries, because I think
What about
they're...
Caesar?
I mean, technically
Eyebrow wiggle.
he is the boyfriend of the week.
No,
in
he's
that,
not.
Well, I mean, their like romantic relationship took a week, so he kind of counts. But at the same time, it's just you can't pick him.
It's like from seasons 1 through now, or like
Fudge.
Oh,
If you
1 through
discount those
6.
guys, I have no answer.
Crickets. Sure.
What about the better Ulysses, Tony Todd?
Oh, I do love me some
But that
Tony
was great
Todd.
because he wasn't even.
It wasn't
He
a love-
sexual.
wasn't a boyfriend. Yeah, he was a platonic male friend.
Yeah, that's how I like him.
The week.
That's exactly how we like him. Yeah, I can't think of any.
Yeah, it's true that.
This is for Xena or like for Gabrielle too?
I think whoever. Yeah.
Oh, because Gabrielle, I would like allow her to have these ridiculous.
Does Autolycus
floppy-
count?
I would
'Cause
maybe
that-
say Marcus. Are we allowed to say Marcus? He's good.
They had an actual
Yeah, I
relationship.
know. But
Well, I
he
mean, is that
feel-
what we mean?
He feels like a boyfriend.
He
of the
is
week.
a love interest because like
Yeah.
he was.
He doesn't have like a long running past
If
with
you-
her. He feels
Mine's
more of a
Autolycus
fling.
then because it's like
Autolycus
the
wins.
sexual attention is fabulous.
Yeah.
and it's
I
a
think you
thing,
could
but
say
it's not.
And
a
one
thing.
time she pegged him.
That was a good time. I also love Draco. He
Oh,
probably
okay.
count. Yeah.
But see, if Drake, it's just he goes into like the basket of like her past with these dudes, Draco,
Yeah.
Marcus.
But I think some of
Boreas,
them are sort of
Caesar.
like a real relation, and some are just like fuck buddies. Like that's my distinction.
I thought the distinction is like she meets these guys for the first time in this episode, and hence boyfriend of the week.
Those dudes literally all are terrible. Like, they're
Yeah.
all bad.
Remember Aggressive Heterosexuality guy?
Ugh. Yeah.
He's probably the least bad.
Yeah.
He's her fiance from Remember Nothing? What? No.
No.
Oh, no, that's a different guy.
He's from the second
Who
episode.
was that guy play twice?
He was one of the knights. He's
Oh,
the
the
knight
knight
that Hope
kills.
The little
Yes,
baby,
that's
baby
right.
Hope kills
That's
him. Okay, so
Robin has a question that I think is a bit of a jumping off from this one.
Okay.
She asks, I want to know your take as to what the conversation looks like between Xena and Gabrielle after the whole Ulysses debacle. If we are going on the assumption that they were a couple at that point in time. Like, if I were Gabrielle, I'd be pissed that I got ditched for a lame little fling.
Is the thing. In the episode, she is pretty mad.
Yeah. She
is
lies in a hammock really grouchily.
pretty grouchy
Grouchy Hammock.
in the episode already.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's very, very pissed because that was completely insane of Xena to do. She was going to marry him
She was on the
and
couch for
move
at
to
least
Ithaca.
a week.
That's an absurd thing for Xena to do.
And she thanked Gabrielle for helping her to, like, love again.
Oh my god.
So
that is
a
the
huge
opposite.
insult.
Yeah, of what she
If
wanted.
this episode was like 4 episodes earlier,
It would be, I mean, still terrible.
still terrible.
But at least it could kind of match with your picture of where Xena and Gabrielle stand.
Yeah.
I would love to read the fics that tackle this issue, because I can totally see it being like a really interesting negotiation behind the scenes. Because, yeah, is Xena just in a place where she thinks, you know, you can fuck 2 people at once and it don't matter, baby?
But she was going to marry him and live on Ithaca.
I know, that don't make no sense. Or maybe she was, like, afraid of the intensity of her feelings for Gabrielle, and the whole Ulysses thing was just, like, a reaction to that. Like, she waned to blow up the situation with
Oh,
Gabrielle.
okay. That's an interesting
It's like a fear is like Ithaca, like that dump. Like,
It's an island.
no.
It's not. It's like you can't get there easily.
They would have been in a situation for a little while.
That would have been a mini rift. Or maybe a maxi rift.
Xena was in the doghouse.
Yeah.
All right. Mikey asks, for the mailbag, please talk about the detailed evolution of Xena's costume.
Ooh.
We would love to do that, but we're gonna pocket that question
Totally.
for later, season 6 probably.
Yeah, I want to talk about everybody.
We want to get to like Luke's, like
Yeah.
the whole thing.
If you're one of our patrons, you may have seen that Battle of the Lukes was one of our, like, maybe next mini-sode ideas. It's still in the mix. We're totally probably going to do it at some point. But I think we'd rather get through more of the show so that we can, you know, in a non-spoilery way, like, talk about all the many looks. And even in terms of Xena's regular costume, that goes through
An evolution,
of an evolution, and you need to see the whole show to appreciate that.
So yeah, great question, Mikey. But we'll get to that later.
Oh, yes. And then there's another question we would like to maybe pause on from Olivia, who asks, what's your opinion on the Olivia Eve arc? I definitely have a lot of opinions.
Lots of opinions. We touched on this a little bit in the last mailbag, I think, when on the question about, like, you know, missed opportunities in later seasons of Xena. But I think at this point we probably just want to put a pin in this for
when we get there. Yeah.
when we get there. So
but we have a lot of opinions.
yeah,
on it.
great question. But
Definitely I love it, and I have...
Yeah, we love it so much. We wish there was more.
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the short
yeah.
answer. Our next question is from Mitch. Hi, Mitch. He asks, as film folks, can you explain the logic of the one-off episodes that disrupt the narrative arc of Season 3 and every season? But it starts becoming more and more jarring, in my opinion, the deeper the narrative arc gets. Examples, King Khan or Tsunami. I understand that there were very different logics around constructing a TV season back then, and part of it was practical. Length of season, shooting order, network, etc. I'd like to hear about that. But I'm even more interested in the type of audience that this construction imagines. Who is this working for? Who is this capturing? What were TV viewing habits like back then? Pre-streaming is a big thing, of course, but what else? And why would a serialized arc possibly be something that wouldn't work for ratings, since it wasn't done as often? I know you've touched on a lot of this, but I'm just curious to hear more of your thoughts on the one-off structure that is so foreign to viewers today, and frankly off-putting to some folks who try Xena. Sounds like Mitch is writing from experience there. I'm watching Star Trek TNG Season 1 right now, and it's so glaring to me right now how different it feels not to have a serialized story. I'm enjoying it, but understand why it feels foreign, and actually a bit slow to today's audiences.
Yeah.
Thanks, you three.
It's funny because Star Trek Discovery is made for today's audiences.
And is serialized,
It's
right?
serialized, and it's like 12 episodes or 10 or whatever.
Yeah, because that's how you make TV now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, serialization is not the standard. Like, turn on CBS, you know, any CSI cop show type deal.
Why is there constantly a marathon of Law and Orders?
But those do at least have stuff
Character
now that
stuff.
Yes, that is much more. I mean, serialized is the right word, but like ongoing character things.
It's like character
continuity,
emotional continuity, and whatnot.
And I guess some of them, like I know my parents loved The Mentalist, and it had like a big,
funny.
I mean, I always think of my parents when talking about this because they love a one-off.
Oh,
Like,
no.
and if you ask my mom, like, why do you like this, which I do every time I speak to her, she's like, well, I like going into something, and you know, I don't know the characters, and I get to learn about them and like find out who I like and don't like, and there's a mystery, and I'm like, who is it? And at the end of the episode, you find out, you're satisfied, and you turn off your TV.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is the argument for that. It's for, like, if you just want to enjoy something in the moment, you're not signing up for 12 hours of, you know, a long story. You just want 1 hour, discrete unit of time. I get it, but yeah, it's so contrary to the way I like to enjoy my television. Like,
because you didn't watch it even that much, so you're mostly used to narrative.
Yeah, it's just how I think at this point. Like, if I'm sitting in front of a 1 hour thing, I'm going to be like, oh, what happened to these people before? I want to know that story, and I want to know what comes after. Like, that just is how I relate to characters.
Right. Because this is a really good example because I used to watch Law and Order regular, and this was in the 90s, so I would find it so frustrating because it wasn't enough about the actual characters that were like on the show. It was always like every episode was too much of a one-off, you know? You had to watch like the whole season for something to go down between like the ADA and whatever, because there wasn't anything. That's why
like
Law and Order proper sucks.
And I know you're thinking about that big moment where I forget who it is. Like, one of the ADAs gets fired. And
like Elizabeth Rom.
Yeah,
from
is
Angel.
This because I'm gay?
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
What the fuck? Yeah, that was a crazy.
You're gay?
Yeah, that was not on the show because there were no like characters on the show who actually.
You're gonna get like all
there.
these Law and Order fans coming.
Now, SVU, on the other hand, is the greatest Law and Order to ever exist. Hashtag Mariska Hargitay for life.
Very good.
Yes.
I can get a business glasses on right now.
Put them on. Put on the business.
For the question. Because you have the distinction in the question about, you know, the time that Xena was on, and then, like, as pre-streaming, and then where you have now just a fuck ton of outlets for TV. So in terms of just, like, bringing it into Xena, like, and the kind of audience that the show wanted, in this time where you're kind of developing narrative, as we discuss a lot, it's basically in this world where, like, you're trying to capture the broadest audience possible. Just anyone who is watching TV, you want them to be able to turn it on, like you're saying with your parents, and just watch it. Xena, especially because it's syndicated, this is syndicated worldwide, right? So it's trying to appeal to a broad, worldwide audience of people who can, and you want to capture the most people like flicking around on the TV at any given time, right? That's why everything was just a one-off. Like, it's kind of a boring thing, but like,
it's awful.
It's like, you had soap operas that were going after a specific daytime audience that was going to be at home
And loyal.
But they were filled with flashbacks in case you missed
it.
Which drove loyal audiences like me crazy.
Exactly. So you always had something. So yeah. So you want like the people who are watching however many stations there are. Like now in the 90s you have cable, but it's not like it is today. So you're just trying to get as many people as you can watching TV. Then it becomes jarring when we're developing these new kinds of stories that are much more engaging in the intelligence of narrative is upping its game. But now you have like crazy streaming land, and it's weird to have stuff that is like one-offs, even though it's like really, really popular still. Because people are trying to capture more niche demos that you can very specifically target, and it's more about just content machines. Like you want to make really good stuff that people are going to want to subscribe to your damn streaming thing to watch. Like, so it's not really about like just having people watch like this one thing. Like, you can have a really intelligent, like, narrative arc ongoing, but there's got to be lots of it so that people are like, I'll spend $10 for, the Stars add-on, like, or whatever, so I can watch Outlander, stupid stuff like that.
Right, but because it's like 10 episodes of this, and then that company's next show has to be also targeted and good for that audience to maintain that subscription.
So basically, Peak TV, the fact that we have 500 produced narrative shows a year now, which is an insane amount. It's probably like 10 times what was being produced back when Xena was made.
At
or
least.
Even more.
It's
even
like
more.
a bajillion times.
Yeah.
Right.
So of course, you have a greater range in like the different kind of narrative forms like being like deployed. And it's important to note that we're kind of talking as if every TV show is serialized in a very specific way.
The most popular TV shows on TV are not really. 17 million people watch The Big Bang Theory. Yeah. I can't speak to it. It has character continuity, I'm sure, but I'm sure you can just watch episodes of it. Like,
yeah,
it's a one-off.
Like while you're at the gym.
It's probably not true. It's like in season 11, and it's 2017, so I'm sure. I'm just like, I pulled that one out of my head because it's so huge.
Yeah.
So you still have these really big shows that are
you have
very
like
old school
anthology shows where you see different characters every week. Like that one about the hotel and that other one about the hotel.
Well, anthology, that's like a new hot format now.
You have limited series and mini series. You have all these different formats to kind of dip your toes in. So I think it's interesting that Peak TV has actually just kind of freed everybody up to do all sorts of crazy things with television, not even just serialization.
Right. But it is still better than how it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, TV has just become the art form, certainly the audiovisual art form where you can experiment. Mm-hmm. Like movies don't really let people do that anymore.
Anyway, to bring it back to Xena, I do feel like the jarring thing is a good word for how you're in this transitory period, because we're about to start season 4, and if you are a new person and you sit down and watch the beginning of season 4, you will be kind of like, what's this?
Is this the right show?
And I love it.
If ever there was a recruiter moment,
I would be
the beginning
in.
of season 4.
I would be all in.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know a bunch of stuff for that one.
Surely the previously on
The previously
Xena.
help. Well, that's why but previouslys exist exactly for this reason. Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, in a way, it's a great sign of respect to your viewers. Like, the hope is that if you make an episode of television that's, like, so good
like, your viewer who's new to it will tune in, be like, this is amazing. I have no idea what's going on, but I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch next week.
I just watched all of season 4 of Younger without having watched seasons 1 through 3.
Yeah, that one was very easy to fill you in on what happened, TBH.
Yeah, it's a great question, Mitch. I can say that, like, I think part of my fascination with shows made during this period in the mid to late 90s is because, like, serialization is coming in and changing things, and it's really cool to see that paradigm shifting before your eyes.
Because and always your favorite episodes from any show that you watch that is, you know, continuous is the ones that actually have something to do with the characters that you're following, you know, some big plot involving them, not a random ass episode, which is mostly how it is.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is that network executives were cowardly at this point and just didn't think it would work. Because I think Mitch is right that those episodes tend to be big. You know, people are going to watch Unnecessary Evil starring Callisto. Like, that's what brings the eyeballs in. People who are attached to a character who they've seen before and they know the bad things she's done before want to see that rematch.
Well, that was Sweeps.
Yeah. Sweeps, that's a whole different story. That's the best episodes of the 90s, every Sweeps.
And they often had serialized components.
Yeah, because that's what you tuned in for. That's why it was so rewarding. All right, next question is BB Squeeze / Bailey asks.
Yes, that Tumblr.
This is for you, Katie, though, so get ready for this.
Yeah.
Mailbag question, Katie. What did you think of Missy Good's fanfic? Which have you read so far? Have any of you read any other amazing fanfic you would rec? Also, can you link to some of your favorite fan vids? I need my fix. Thanks for the podcast. Welcome, Bailey.
Woohoo! Yeah, so yes, I have been reading Melissa Good's Soulmate series. For anyone who isn't familiar, Melissa Good is a Xena fanfic author / novelist who got to write 2 episodes of the show in season 6. So that is really cool. And so I started off my Xenofic journeying by reading this big series. It had been recommended a lot. And I've read like the first 4 stories in this series, which is epically long. I think it's longer than Game of Thrones, like, you know, like the whole thing, like A Song of Ice and Fire, like longer than that, I think. And it's really good. I liked, so my favorite one so far, I think, was At a Distance, which is like Xena and Gabrielle are separated and then all this great stuff happens.
Pining is good.
And just like, oh, it's good. And then there's one called Home is Where the Heart is, which introduces a really intense Gabrielle backstory that I was not expecting. That to me is not jive with the show, but like is good in the story. I definitely recommend it. It's definitely, I will say my one thing, which is that like she doesn't write sex, and so there's a lot of fade outs. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's totally like, you know, that's like her thing as an author. It's totally cool. But like when you're reading it, you're like, no, fan out. Oh my god. But yeah, it's really fun, really good. Vera, you're reading one.
Yeah, I'm still working my way through Infamia, I don't know how to pronounce it, by Vivian Darkbloom, recommended by Mitch. It's amazing. It's like I think I mentioned it, it's like a Conqueror, but not really. It's from When Fates Collide, AU. And there is sex, and she does write it, and it's written really well. And I finally got to it. So it's also really long. That's why I said that. But it's really, really good. I really recommend it if anyone is interested in reading about Xena being an empress of Rome and Gabrielle being a little tiny gladiator.
I just saw a gift set on Tumblr yesterday. The gift set's from a couple years ago, but it was making the rounds again, which was literally of Lucretia and Spartacus, and then Gabrielle doing like fighting, but it was like Lucretia like looking at her,
my
so she was
gosh.
being a gladiator, and there was lots of tags on it like, oh, is this a thing? Does this have to be a thing? This has to be a thing, and I was like, oh, it's a thing.
It's a thing, and it's a good thing. Oh my goodness. So yeah.
What about fanbits?
Oh yes, the fan vids. Now, Katie and I, we did a panel at VividCon that we filmed, and you can see that on Patreon. But we had a list of the vids we talked about, and I thought we made that public, but we can definitely recirculate it again. Katie, you have your own special story about vids.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, when we were doing the panel for VividCon, I got really into trying to find older Xena vids that existed, because we were doing like a timeline kind of thing. If you're a patron, you can watch the whole panel on Patreon. And it was just getting really frustrating because you were like, wanted to see all these vids, and there were like links on the pages that still work, but they didn't go anywhere. And so I reached out to a person in the VividCon community who was like really big on archiving a lot of fan works and stuff. If you've ever been to like fan lore, and you can look up all this like history of fandom, like, and things like that. And to kind of go through and build up the Xena pages there, and so just recently came into a 30 gig treasure trove of Xena vids that I'm like so excited to kind of go through, and because they're like from the 90s and early 2000s and stuff, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also you're working on some Xena fan vids yourself. Humble brag. You better finish it.
Well, you mean the one I made already?
Well, yeah, that too, but also your new one that I need you to finish.
Yeah, it'll be done when this podcast is done. It's probably for the best.
Probably true.
All right, next question. Who is it, Olivia? Is it you?
It could be me. Hashtag your shirt asks, just listen to your mailbag. That's our last mailbag. I assume hashtag your shirt isn't from the future.
Apologies. This is a question that I missed on Tumblr from a long time ago, so I hope they're still listening.
Hashtag your shirt is from the future, guys.
Yeah, their question is actually being like, why did you make fun of my question? I just listened to your mailbag in which you made some awful time travel jokes. Katie, yes, what's your point there?
That I missed this question from a long time ago, and I apologize.
From Hermes Mailbag 1.
No, because they listened to it already.
You're right. Never mind.
Hashtag your shirt travels through time. So, I appreciated how openly you discussed fanfic and its role in fandom. You mentioned Klex's role in current women-loving women/fem/fandom, but what is your interpretation of Supercorp? Supergirl/Lena Luthor subtext pairing. How does it relate to Xena and Gabrielle from the late 90s? Also, I assume you watch Supergirl. If you don't, you should. We do!
We do watch Supergirl. Supercorp is my favorite ship.
Yeah.
From Supergirl.
So I probably have the most feelings about this, and
they're all Katie McGrath based.
They are entirely. Well, no, they're not entirely, but y'all, I watched not all of Merlin, but most.
No one's seen all of Merlin.
This is a tangent. I'm sorry. Everybody knows that I'm like very late to finding fandom and fanfic and stuff like that. Like in college, but I came to realize not too long ago that Morgana and Morgaz were my first fem/ship that I like read and also made vids for. So like I participated in that one. They were my baby's first fem/.
It's a little bit Callisto Xena-y.
Because one blonde, one brunette,
and one's sort of like
they were sisters.
Evil, and one's trying to be good.
Yeah. It was great that Merlin is a terrible show.
It really
terrible,
is.
terrible.
It is. No one's seen it all.
But Katie McGrath is amazing. So I was very excited when she came to Supergirl. I'm even more excited that she's now a series regular. However, I don't know what's going to happen to that show. I mean, to that ship even. Maybe we can put a pin in it for our queer baiting minisode that we're going to do.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to come up.
Because, yeah, I mean, it was very fun in season 2, that's for sure. And it is my OTP, that's also for sure. But I do wonder about the longevity of this ship. I hope it remains. It is certainly fun. And also, Katie McGrath cannot play straight to save her life.
Oh, what about A Princess for Christmas?
Starring Outlander man in a sweater.
Outlander man? You mean Sam Heughan?
Yeah,
Yeah, and they dance about.
they do.
Was that convincingly straight? I don't remember
yeah.
it being so.
There were a lot of sweaters.
There were a lot of sweaters.
It was Christmas. He's definitely a man.
He is. She was trying things out.
Oh, Supercorp though. I always say
Super
Supercorp.
gay. Yeah, I want to be
Supercorp.
I like Supercorp more, but we are of the minority.
I don't know why I say that all the time though, but I love
Supercorp is super gay.
I do love them, and yeah, if you want another girl, I like them more than Sandburrs,
Yeah.
even though they are subtext. Just because I just love
Yeah.
the chemistry. The chemistry,
So good. So good.
and how it relates to Xena Gabrielle.
I mean, again, I want
yeah.
to table this discussion because I do have a lot of feelings.
Yeah,
I
we
like
have a lot of feelings about some of
So,
the stuff.
yeah.
As a reminder, you guys, queer baiting is the topic that won our most recent mini-sode poll, and we are going to have that up for you in the next month. So look out
Yeah.
for that.
We will
Ish.
talk about
Ish.
Supercorp. Okay.
Cool.
Is it me? Am I the next
I
question?
think you're next.
Okay. Miriyasha asks, have any of you seen Jane the Virgin? It's a pretty different show from Xena, but it has some exceptional editing, and I wonder what y'all think of it. I think we've all seen at least some of it.
Yeah.
A couple episodes.
Yeah. I don't watch it, but I definitely tuned in specifically because Bridget Regan was on it. So I feel like the most qualified to answer this in that sense, where I watch a lot of things for Bridget Regan.
There's so many shows.
But I can't watch The Last Ship. It's really bad now.
Oh no.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Aw.
Well, I would like to watch Jane the Virgin. That's on my list because it does look really cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked what I saw originally. I feel like for me, I have a tendency to fall off stuff that is kind of bubblier. So like,
Although it really reminds me of, and you loved
Pushing Daisies. Yeah, but Pushing Daisies was Brian Fuller, and his bubbly stuff was dark.
Okay.
And Jane the Virgin probably has some of that too. And I love the telenovela stuff, and yeah, it was good. The stuff I saw was good, and really cute. But I have like a harder time with stuff that is like, I'm like a annoying
you want
person
the drums.
who loves drums.
You want the
crazy drums.
So like I love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for a bit, but like I haven't gone back to it because it's also like
very
fun.
fun.
Katie doesn't want to have fun, okay?
I like fun. Okay.
Cool.
So the next question is from Candace,
Yes.
and it is, what exactly does the problematic jar mean, and how are things problematic? Relatedly, Miriyasha asks, where does the money from the problematic jar go? Good old problematic jar.
Stop it!
Okay, that's enough. I feel like, well, I can kind of start this one by saying that when I was listening a little bit more to Buffering the Vampire Slayer in the beginning, they always kind of made little jokes about how much they were going to use the word patriarchy, which obviously would come up a lot on Buffy as a topic. And I felt like we could have a similar situation with the word problematic.
Because it would come up a lot
with
on
Xena.
Xena.
Not that it doesn't come up on Buffy either. It come up on both. But I feel like for people who are like kind of not familiar with the use of the term problematic, like I go on Tumblr a lot, and you feel like it's a word that has been in critical discourse a lot or comes up a lot that for me has kind of, it's a great word because it is the most fitting for when there are issues with text that you want to address, but it also gets so overused that it's almost lost all meaning.
Which is part of why we have the jar.
Yeah.
Because we like to mock it a bit.
The word.
The word.
Not the problems that the word
No, I mean, that's the
is for.
Frustrating thing for me is that it's a catch-all term for so many really important problems, but people often use the word as a way to not talk about what those problems are. Like, you can almost, like, dismiss the conversation by saying, well, it's problematic. Okay, it makes me uncomfortable, moving on.
Yeah, and I
put
feel
a
like,
coin in the jar,
you know,
change the subject.
I always kind of want to put a coin in the jar for us because I do feel like in 134 episodes of this show, we will probably misuse the jar.
Yeah, we probably already have.
And we probably already have. But yeah, like in terms of like how are things problematic, it's definitely like just the easiest phrase that springs to mind when you're talking about these bigger important issues in storytelling, especially when you're talking about a show from the late 90s and we're in 2017, and a show that has a lot of things with cultural appropriation and race and religion and stuff like that that are all really interesting to me. So you want to take it seriously, but we also don't want to like sound like a broken record saying the same thing every time in an episode something comes up.
I think it's also important, and an interesting valence, I think, of the word is that a problem isn't just like toxic, you dump it, you don't engage with it. A problem is something to solve, it's something to engage with. Mm-hmm. So I actually like that aspect of the word quite a bit. Because it's sort of saying, like, let's unpack this. Like, why is this a problem?
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the whole thing where, like, all your faves are problematic or whatever, where you kind of have reached a point sometimes where discussion about shows can become frustrating because everything is a problem. And then in terms of talking, that equates now to a lot of people as this is bad. And that's not what it's supposed to mean. It's not supposed to be problematic equals bad equals don't like this thing, or you can't like any aspect of this thing because it's bad, because it's a problem. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's possible to engage with like art that does things that make you uncomfortable without it reflecting on your morals. Like,
anyway,
that's a bigger conversation.
It's really sorry.
Than this question that is what does the jar mean?
So the jar is supposed to be just a kind of a good time.
But my favorite,
with issues.
My favorite joke about the jar is that it is a problematic jar. Like, the fact that we use this jar is a problem. It's problematic. So.
Probably. Let's put it in for us again.
It has Brad's face on it.
And then ultimately, the money that is in it, it's like, it's our money that we're throwing in. It's obviously coins so that you can hear it. The goal is that at the end of the day, we will donate it somewhere, but as yet undecided.
Yeah, maybe we'll let you guys decide. That can be a question for when we're in season 6. I don't know. Katie's like wrinkling her nose. She's like, no, we're going to decide. Stay tuned for where the jar goes.
All right. I don't even know if it's my turn, but I'm going to ask it.
Do it.
William asks...
Ooh, cast questions. Sorry, I got excited.
William says, I would really like your take on Autolycus and Jack of all trades, ... Is Bruce Campbell a hack or a genius? Katie, go.
I am
offended.
Who thinks he's a hag?
William, how could you?
He is a genius. I fucking love Bruce Campbell. He knows his thing. He has run with his thing. He's so good. I love him so much. I also love when you have an actor like Bruce Campbell, who's obviously known for being in a lot of campy stuff, Xena included, and then, you know, B-horror and stuff like that. And, you know, very well known, obviously best known for the Evil Dead franchise. We've seen him do, like, serious stuff, like, or semi-serious stuff. Like, he was just on... Fargo playing Ronald Reagan and was really great at
serious,
that. I mean,
but has he really, like, has
good.
any of his IMDb been, like, a serious dramatic role?
We'd have to go through it and do a Bruce Campbell IMDb experience.
He got some very favorable kind of mainstream notice for Bubba Hotep, but I haven't seen it.
It's
I'm sure it's
hilarious.
Campy. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
campy
not what
B
I'm talking
movie.
about. I'm talking about
Which
like
is
a
really
serious
good.
dramatic role. Because that thing of like, I want to see him in a serious drama where, because he's so funny.
I'm sure he
you know, I
could
wanna
rock
see...
it. Yeah, because I mean, he's always showing off the dramatic chops in Ash,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah, I think he's
absolutely.
really great. I didn't watch, you know, he was on Burn Notice for like 8 years.
That's
That is
true.
not a
I
serious
know
show.
what it is, but like...
Vera's so angry
I am
right now.
so angry.
Vera just turned into the red face emoji.
Just you wait until we get to that part of Lucy Laws's career and the Lucy Law's IMDb experience.
I love when she's in the saffron. Oh my god, it was so good. No, I just think he's great. I think he's like really charismatic, fun personality who is very great, and I love all the roles that he chooses. And I love that, you know, he works with the Raimis a lot and Rob, and it's their whole team. Really,
It's a family.
yeah.
He could definitely choose to do a serious drama, though.
I would be down with it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should write a pitch for him quick, Vera.
Quick, how could he...
Bruce Campbell in space, a serious drama.
A serious take on space, yeah, for sure.
Anyway, genius.
Who's gonna ask the next one? I just
Katie?
did this.
Is it me?
I think
It
it's
could
you.
be you.
Okay. Kathleen asks, how much of Lucy's career do you think is decided by her? Rob, parentheses, Rob Tabbert, her husband, is producer in almost all her shows. I think she decides all of her career. That's what I think. And I love, as we were saying just now with Bruce Campbell, I kind of love a lot of these, like, families that just continue to work together, that just produce all this amazing stuff. I don't think she does anything that she doesn't want to do ever.
Right, but I mean, it's like for the stuff that's, you know, from the family, I think like a lot of it is collaboration, obviously. Like the question being, was Lucretia, let's say, written for her from the start, or was that like a character and then they were like, well, Lucy can do this. You know what I mean? Like that kind of question.
I like to think that, you know, she, after Xena, had a lot of power, in part because she was a part of this very successful production company family. And she could make her own opportunities. And I say, do that. If you have the power to do that, you do that. You make your own roles. You find those projects that work for you. I don't see that as somehow being lesser than you know, being, like, auditioning for something and being cast.
We are totally going to be talking about this in the Lucy Lawless IMDb experience on Patreon. Yes.
That's right. I mean, yeah, I mean, just, I know that I should save this for that, but certainly something like, let's say, her role in Battlestar Galactica, right? Like, that was, she was asked to be in it for one role.
And that's how you know you're amazing.
Right.
People come knocking on your door.
Right, but I mean, like, it was David Icke, she knew him from Hercules.
That's how you get work in Hollywood.
I know, but, like, the point being that, you know, he was like, play this character. And she's like, I don't want to play that character.
Oh my God.
And then they created a different character for her.
I still can't sometimes. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to save it.
We're going to get into that
Yeah,
later.
we're
Later,
not
later.
allowed to talk about Lucy Lawless.
Can I please say
What? Yes.
what, that she was supposed to be Mrs. Ty?
Yes. And she didn't want to do it because she literally was like, I don't want to play the wife. That's a stupid role for me.
From someone who wants to, like, have that creative control.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
I'm just like, I think it's so awesome. I think it's so awesome that she puts her foot down.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, last question.
Oh,
This is a big one.
we were asked this twice.
Robin and Rebecca would both like to know, are you guys going to the Z-Night retreat? I believe tickets are on sale, but there's currently a waiting list.
Dramatic pause for suspense.
We're going!
We are going to the Z-Night retreat 2018!
Yay! So, yeah, tweet us if you're going to be there too. We will definitely be there. Tell us what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, because we don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very excited though. It looks like a blast. We've heard so many great things. So yeah, if you're going to the Z-Night retreat, we will definitely be seeing you there. And I'm very excited.
And that wraps it up for Hermes Mailbag. Number 2. So, is there anything we should say for upcoming things?
Scheduling update.
Yeah.
Next week will be Adventures in the Sin Trade Part 1.
Holy shit.
The week after that will be Adventures in the Sin Trade
Oh my goodness.
Part 2.
You don't say.
Surprise!
Okay.
Followed by a family affair in the bathroom. Oh my god.
Follow us on the things and stuff, Katie. Take
Why
it
don't
away.
you do it?
Oh no.
She's not drunk enough.
We are on Apple Podcasts. I am saying this first because it is the best place to subscribe and rate and leave reviews. It helps people find the podcast if you take a minute to do that stuff. If you're enjoying us, that would be awesome. We're also on Stitcher and Google Play. And you can go to our website, xenawarriorpodcast.com, where you can find links to everything, including to our Patreon, where we're doing the aforementioned Lucy Lawless IMDb Experience podcast, as well as some other stuff, including bonus content from episodes, I believe, going forward a little bit sometimes.
Yeah,
we
when they're 5 hours long.
Yes, when they're 5 hours long.
Yes, and follow us on Twitter at Xena Warrior Pod, and find us on Tumblr and Facebook at Xena Warrior Podcast.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.